guys, thanks for clicking on this video. I'm so glad you're here. I wanted to kind of dive into postpartum, and I just wanted to be vulnerable with where I've been at. I wanted to kind of dive in and dissect things that I just didn't do well. One of them being not giving myself grace to just heal and take the time that I needed to heal my body. I was just so overwhelmed and wanting to get back to everything and wanting to do everything for everyone, wanting to make sure that my son was okay with the transition, and I focused very heavily on him and spending time with him that I hardly ever spent time with my newborn. I hardly ever just got to sit with her and look at her and soak up the newborn snuggles. I hardly ever was with her other than when I was feeding her. I'm really sad about that. I was even sad about it in the moment, but I just cared so much about transitioning my first well, and I didn't want him to feel like he didn't have me anymore. I wanted him to have a good transition, but I think that set me up to have a worse transition. My husband did not get very much time off of work. That's one thing that I wish we would have prioritized, but at the same time, it was out of our control. There's only so much that you can do when you are a one-income household. He was only able to get off a week, and that is just not long enough. That's not long enough. I wish I would have prioritized just resting in my bed. Like, if I could go back, I would have spent the first 3 to 5 days at home in bed, physically resting and having people be able to bring me meals and just focus on bonding with my baby, eating well and nursing well and all that stuff, but just not pushing myself to get back to where I was at physically. And like, with me trying so hard to transition my toddler, well, I was playing with him and I was picking him up and I was just doing a bunch of kind of strenuous tasks. Childbirth is a lot on your body, and I've had 2 unmedicated childbirths. They are a lot on your body, and I did not set myself up this time around to heal like at all. I was up and out of bed and doing stuff and taking care of my toddler, carrying him, playing with him. My heart desire was in the right place, but I just wasn't smart in knowing that my body just went through so much and it needs to heal. And I really regret that, and it made my postpartum healing take a lot longer, and it was a lot more painful. Give yourself time and space to heal, to fully rest. That's also the best time to bond with your newborn, and I feel like I missed out on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Some toys?
Yeah!
Hi! What are you?
Yellow.
Yellow?
Hi.
Hi!
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. What's your red car?
Okay, I'll help you. We saved him! Yay! Hi!
Go back here. Get me.
Okay, good job.
Mama, get me.
So when I was thinking about making this video and wanting to be transparent about my postpartum journey, so many things came like flooding my brain. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit frazzled with trying to process things that I haven't processed, honestly, since having my daughter. One of the main things that was hard for me to process was that I had really put these unspoken expectations on myself that I would do postpartum better this time around. That because I I had done it before. I know what to expect and I will do it better. I put a lot of pressure on myself that I was like, I am going to get back to normal way sooner this time around. Working out, I'm going to lose the baby weight faster. I'm gonna get in a better headspace mentally faster. I'm gonna get out of the house more. I'm going to get over my anxiety about leaving the house with kids. I'm gonna do that quicker. I'm gonna do that better. I'm gonna go to church quicker. None of those things happened. It was just like the complete opposite. I had a much harder postpartum season, and there was a lot of different factors that played into that. Mentally, it really got to me because I had those expectations that things were going to be better this time around. I was going to do it better and I wasn't going to struggle and I was going to get back on my feet and all that stuff, and just I was very naive. What I'm learning through experience and also just educating myself a little bit more about postpartum and my own body and what's going on inside my body as I'm going through postpartum and healing. Every postpartum season is going to look different because there are so many contributing factors to how your postpartum will be, whether that's good or bad. One of them being, and I will get into a longer explanation of Ivy's birth, but Ivy's birth was much longer, was much more exhausting, was much more taxing on my body physically and mentally. I didn't even consider how that would play a factor in my postpartum recovery, but it was a lot harder for me to heal physically. Really, when I think about it, I didn't put any emphasis on caring for my physical healing after birth. Like I said, I was in that mindset that I think a lot of it is societal pressures on women, because our society really isn't focused on like helping the woman heal. It's very success driven and get back to normal as quickly as possible, but that's just not the reality of what birth and postpartum is, especially, and I'm learning more about this, but especially breastfeeding moms, because one, obviously when you're pregnant and when the baby's growing inside of you, your body is constantly pouring out for this life to grow that life inside of you. Well, after you've given birth and you're breastfeeding, your body is still doing that. It is still providing life for your baby, but they're just not inside of you. I think I was just naive to even recognize that though I'm not pregnant, my body is still working to grow my baby through the nutrients that the breast milk is giving, and how much that demands of your body. If you are breastfeeding, it is not possible for you to get back to normal, because if you got back to normal, you wouldn't be able to provide breast milk for your baby. The sheer fact that you are providing in that way for your baby is an indicator that you're not going to get back to normal. That's actually good. You do not want to get back to normal, because you will lose what your body is currently doing for your baby still. It's like your body, while breastfeeding, is still growing a human. It helped me to realize and give myself grace that I shouldn't be getting back to normal. For me, if I'm blessed to feed her for as long as I fed Elliot, I'm gonna be in this not normal state for the next year plus. My body is in a season of growing babies. That is my normal, right? Like that's my new normal. My new normal right now for my body is in a season of growing babies. Hold on. Speaking of growing babies, she needs to nurse, because she nurses all the time. I don't want to quote unquote get back to normal because I'm blessed to be in this season. I'm blessed to be in a position where my body has been able to grow life and nurture that life. How great it is in all facets. Very demanding, but beautiful. And not have this like desire to get back to a different season of life where my body isn't being demanded of in these ways. So if you've ever struggled, or you're currently struggling with the postpartum just pressures to get back to how you were before you were pregnant, that's just not the season of life that you're in. Postpartum lasts so much longer than the 6 to 12 weeks that they claim is the postpartum season. It's so much longer than that. If you're expecting that and if you're preparing for that, it's going to be monumental for your mindset when you enter into your postpartum season or continue in your postpartum season. Another thing that kind of was in my control, but also kind of not in my control, was I wanted and had the best intentions of setting myself up with either a meal train or freezer meals to help provide nutritious meals after birth, and I did not have that. My daughter did come a little bit early, so I wasn't really fully prepared for her to come. Unfortunately, I did not eat super well, especially that first week. I was eating just very quick, convenient items, which usually are full of sugars, and I found that actually I started craving sugary things, which is interesting because that's completely opposite of how I was in pregnancy, and I was so hungry all the time, but I didn't have food prepared for me to eat. I didn't have good nutrition that was easily accessible to me. It just kind of spiraled out of control because I just wasn't prepared for not having the time or the energy to be able to cook anymore. If I could go back, I really would prioritize that, and I would ask for help. Healthy, nutritious meals are so good, one, for the healing of your body and mind, but also it sets you up to crave those things. It helps your hormones, it helps your physical healing, it helps you mentally, it helps with providing good nutrients in your breast milk. I would have prioritized soups and warming foods because those are super good for your hormones and balancing those out. Help.
I get it.
Because my postpartum got off on such a rocky start with nutrition, I ended up gaining weight in my postpartum, and that really affected me mentally as well. So I did not set myself up for success in that way, and I am really sad about that. It was also a good reminder how quickly our bodies can shift into unhealthy habits.
Here.
Oh, okay, great. A big challenge that I've had this postpartum that I've honestly felt a lot of shame with is just postpartum rage and anger. It feels a little bit like an out-of-body experience because I'm not the type of person to get angry and to get upset and to be short-tempered, and it has been very hard for me to reconcile who this person is. It helps me to know that I am not responsible for certain feelings that come up, but I'm responsible for how I handle those feelings, especially because a lot of those feelings are due to the crazy hormonal shift. It can cause so many crazy symptoms in regards to moods, depression, anxiety, anger. That is out of our control. What's in our control is how we handle those emotions. And I've just had to work really hard at processing those emotions because those are brand new to me. I know the Lord has given me so much grace and also so much wisdom in handling these emotions when they come up. Every postpartum season is going to be different for every woman. There are a lot of beautiful moments in postpartum, and there are also a lot of challenging moments and really hard moments. Postpartum is a very vulnerable time. It is a time for healing. It's a time to just rest, to not have expectations on yourself other than resting, recovering, and taking care of your babies. It's such a blessing to be in a season like this, but it is so challenging and demanding that you need to give yourself grace and space to walk through it. Thanks for letting me share a little bit of what I've been dealing with. There's so much that has gone on, and I know that the Lord is just continuing to refine me, and I'm so grateful for it.